So what do we learn this week about six-drop tribal in Ixalan standard? And I was nervous there for a while that this was going to go down as the worst Much Abrew deck, maybe of all time, or at least since the infamous Mono Blue Mill. But we finally did sneak out a win eventually. We ended up 1-4, and honestly, I think that's about right for this deck. It is so, even with our small upgrade to have the 4 Harness Lightnings, to have a little bit of removal in the early game, the problem was we still just got run over by people playing more efficient things. There's a reason the typical Magic deck has a curve of playing things at various mana costs instead of just playing all 1 mana cost. And this deck does a great job of reminding us why curve is important. So the problem is, even though we have a ton of power, an incredible amount of power, if you were going to just stack up decks in standard based on how many powerful cards are in them, I bet this would be the most powerful deck in standard, just on raw numbers. The problem is we played so inefficiently and we were so slow and so clunky that we were never really able to deploy our power onto the battlefield. So an opponent who just goes 1-drop, even a horrible 1-drop, into a 2-drop, even a horrible 2-drop, into a 3-drop, even a really bad 3-drop, is probably just going to beat us because we're going land, go. Land, hopefully, maybe have one of our few ramp pieces, go. Land, go. Land, go. By the time we actually get to playing a 6-drop, we're usually to the point of just literally being dead. So while the deck does do, in theory, a good job of harnessing the power of Sunbird's Invocation, because our hits with Sunbird Invocation are going to be great. We are going to do an amazing job of actually hitting 6-drop into 6-drop, or 6-drop into Rich Carter's expertise, into 6-drop, into something. Like, it gets crazy at those points. The problem was we could rarely even cast our Sunbird's Invocation, honestly. A lot of times we'd get to the point where we had multiple 6-drops and Sunbird's Invocation, and we could never take a turn off to actually play Sunbird's Invocation because we would just die to our opponent's board. So I think that there's a lesson to be learned here, and that is curve is important, and Magic decks are about more than just power level, and having all the power in the world doesn't really matter if your curve is bad, because you're just not playing efficiently enough to be able to keep up with decks that are playing less powerful cards, but actually just casting something every turn. I don't think I've ever played a deck where I've spent more turns just passing and doing nothing because we didn't have the ability to cast any of our cards. So I think the bottom line is this: what the deck needs to do, and it wouldn't really be 6-drop tribal anymore. I don't think it's possible a deck with 22, or even our slightly adapted build with the Harness Lightnings with 18 6-drops. That just can't work. That's not a thing. I don't care how you build the deck. That's just not a thing that it can do. The problem is, like we talked about, the efficiency in the mana curve. So as sad as it sounds, I think the solution is we gotta not be 6-drop tribal. I think Sunbird's Invocation is a super powerful card, and when you think about how Sunbird's Invocation works, you cast a card, you get to look at cards equal to that spell's converted mana cost. We cast a 6-drop, look at 6 cards. That is 1/10 of the cards in our entire library, and the math is a little different because you're playing lands and further along in the game, but that's 6 out of 60 cards, which means with 10 6-drops, odds are still in favor of hitting another 6-drop. Like, that's on average, you'll hit another 6-drop with 10 6-drops. So the fact that we have 22 is just a little bit of overkill. So based on those numbers, we could still be 6-drop tribal, so to speak, with maybe 10 6+ mana cards, and then a bunch more cheap stuff where we can maybe play, like, I hate to say this because of energy, but like a Rogue Refiner would go so far in this deck. Just to have a body that draws us another card, can chump block for a turn while we're trying to set up. Maybe some more ramp. We could play New Horizons along with Gift of Paradise, or more of the 2-mana Mana Dorks, maybe Servant of the Conduit and Drover the Mighty or something to have more ramp to get to our 6-drops faster. So I think the bottom line is we need to cut about half of the 6-drops, including Nicol Bolas in the 6-drop slot, out of the deck. What is the way to make this happen? I would probably look at maybe cutting the Carnage Tyrants, which were good in some scenarios, but not good in all scenarios, or cutting back on the Carnage Tyrants, I think would be a way to go. Samet can do some really explosive things, but I'm not sure we really want two Samets. They're a little awkward to draw. They're good when we kind of cascade into them with Sunbird's Invocation and get a big hasty thing, but otherwise they're not that good. Locust God doesn't have any real combos. It's just kind of a 6-drop. Even when we got our Locust God on the battlefield, it was kind of just a 4/4 that made one extra insect a turn, which isn't a bad card, but for 6 mana, I think we'd want something more, maybe some more card draw. So I think that's what we got to do. Trim down on some of the bad expensive cards, have less of the bad expensive cards, and add in more early game stuff so we actually live long enough to occasionally cast our expensive cards. So I don't know. Overall, I wish the deck had went better because it wasn't very good. Like, it can't work. The curve can't work. It's not a possible thing that can happen. So I was disappointed because it looks really sweet and the idea is still cool. I think that my takeaway from this, other than curve matters, curve matters, curve matters, remind yourself that every time you build a deck, that is super, super, super important. But I think that there could be a really sweet similar deck with less 6-drops, but still based around Sunbird's Invocation. But then we're kind of looking at like our Sunbird's Invocation Panharmonicon deck, something along those lines. I think something like that can work, but I feel like this deck just unnecessarily goes too far on the 6-drop plan, and because of that, it's not really a functional Magic deck, even with our changes. And if you can imagine this, without the changes, we quite literally just lost to Long Tusk Cub on turn 2. Like, seriously, scoop up our cards, it's over, shake our opponent's hand, good game. And considering like more than half the decks in Standard are playing Long Tusk Cub, or some percentage around there, that happened way, way, way too often. So it would have been even worse if we hadn't made those slight changes. So overall, the idea is fun. I like the cards in the deck. It has some cool things, but your curve matters too much for this to actually work. So, unfortunately, please don't play 6-drop Tribal. If you do want to play something similar, look at the Sunbird's Invocation against the odds deck we played. Or if you want to play this exact deck, just cut half the 6-drops. Choose any half of the 6-drops, the expensive cards, cut them, replace them with more ramp, other cheaper cards, maybe some more interaction, and then at least you'll have a functional Magic deck that can actually play a game of Magic, instead of a deck that just sits there and does nothing in like 75% of the games because you have 5 6-drops in hand while you're trying to make your land drops and your opponent's beating you down with crappy, horrible creatures. So anyway, that's 6-drop Tribal. I'm glad we tried it. Hopefully we never try it again. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the videos despite our endless losing, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.